Wuthering Waves is now in the second phase of its version 1.3 patch, which means that very soon we'll be entering into the version 1.4 patch of the game. Now, Wuthering Waves, ever since its global launch, has been having this habit of not actually giving us a live stream to talk about the new things that will be coming out to the game in the next patch of the game. I don't know if they've repented or if they're only saving live streams for when they release new regions in the game. So this video series, like I already mentioned in the last part, will cover every single update that I know of that is not a leak that will be coming to Wuthering Waves. And unfortunately, there isn't actually a lot of information here. I'll only be talking about the new characters. So if you know about the new characters, I don't really think you have to watch. But in this video, I'll be giving out my speculations on what the characters would do, and also some speculation on some other events that we'll probably get in the game. Probably. That remains to be seen. With all that said, let's get straight into the video. So, version 1.4 of Wuthering Waves will have two new characters coming to the game. One of them is the highly anticipated character Camellya, and the next one is basically the rat girl known as Lumi. Camellya is a 5-star character, and she is, like I've already said, one of the most anticipated characters for Wuthering Waves, and what her kit will probably be is something that we don't know, but I'm going to make my speculations based off what I've seen her do in the story of the game. So, what exactly is Camellya's element? That really is not clear, but if I use the picture that Wuthering Waves actually teased us with, we have a lot of red in the picture, which might indicate that Camellya's element is actually going to be fusion or the fire element. And we also know that Camellya manipulates plants. So I think that Camellya is most probably going to be either a Sub DPS character or maybe a healer character. This is a stretch, okay? This is a very big stretch. I actually lean more into the Sub DPS character kind of thing because in this cutscene, we see that Camellya is able to actually extend her plants forward and actually attack enemies in front of her. So I think this might be a good way to add like buffs and debuffs to enemies, while at the same time giving her enough room to swap out and allow another character to do some more damage. Now, one of the main reasons why I actually believe that this is going to be the case is because in the Black Shores, we know that Camellya is actually someone who takes care of flowers and has been looking to preserve a lot of the old flowers that are no longer really available in the world right now. And because of this, she'll probably have come across different kinds of flowers that have different kinds of effects. Maybe she's come across a flower that is poisonous to people, a different kind of flower that is actually medicinal to some people, and you can sort of see where I get the idea of her becoming a Sub DPS character from. Because of the fact that she may have come across these different kinds of flowers with different kinds of effects, it would make sense to, in her kit, add some part of her kit that is able to maybe poison enemies and cause them to become debuffed, losing a certain amount of defense and allowing your characters to be able to deal a little bit more damage. And then we can add another part of her kit which actually buffs the next character. This could probably be her intro skill or her outro skill. This will then allow the next character that's coming into the field to be able to deal a ton more damage, and this can probably also boost elemental damage. Maybe she's found a flower that can allow a character with a certain element be able to actually increase the amount of damage that they do based on that element. So this might probably also cause us to have like restrictions based on the team composition that we have. Of course, all of these things are just my speculations of what the character can do, and I don't really want to go really deep into it because, like I've always said in some of my videos, you can go really deep because of fan speculation and you just be very far away from what the devs actually have in mind. So I don't really want to speculate too much, but I'm actually very curious to hear what you guys think her elements will be. So let me go over what I think her kits will be. Her basic attacks will just be her basic attacks. I think her skill is going to have some form of debuffing or buffing effect. The same thing for her ultimate. And I think that her outro skill specifically is going to be a skill that buffs elemental damage. Or maybe it also buffs attack similar to Verena. We already know that the devs are very aware that Verena is one of the most overworked characters in the game, so they'll probably be looking for a way to substitute Verena. We just got the Shorekeeper, so I think it's very likely that maybe, just maybe, Camellya can also become like a third alternative option to Verena. who can also heal, and maybe her ultimate will have the ability to heal our characters up. All of this remains to be seen, but I hope that she delivers on her kit. Now, when we move on to Lumi, Lumi is a very special case because we've never actually seen Lumi in the story prior to version 1.4, which makes it a little bit more difficult for me to try to speculate what her kit will be based off what we've seen in the story. Now, probably if I go through the lore of the game, look for books and all of these kinds of things, I'll probably find some reference to Lumi, but I'm lazy, I don't want to do that. Let's do it another way entirely. So let's go through the different characters and their different elements and try to find out what niche either does not have a character, has very few characters, or basically needs more characters in it. With that in mind, first of all, what element does Lumi have? Based off this picture here, it's not very clear, but there is this little bit of a gradient that I can see on Lumi, which gives me two options for what her element could potentially be. We have either Havoc or Electro. Now, I personally lean more towards Havoc than anything, and let me explain my reasoning for that. First of all, if you look through the game, we only have 2 Havoc characters in the game. Technically 3 if you include the rover, but we only have 2 dedicated Havoc characters in the game, Danjin and Tao Chi. Tao Chi is essentially like a support character. I count Tao Chi as more of a supportive shielder than anything. Danjin is a full-on DPS. The rover is also a full-on DPS. So that means that we don't really have a lot of support characters in the Havoc element side of the game. So what could that potentially mean? That could potentially tell us that Lumi might be the first dedicated Havoc support that we have in the game. And I think this would work perfectly because, like I've already said, the Havoc element does not have a ton of characters. So the devs would be eliminating 2 problems at once. 1, they would be adding more Havoc characters that we can actually play. And 2, we would also be getting a probably dedicated support character for Havoc characters, which might help increase the damage that we get from Danjin or from the rover. Of course, this remains to be seen. It's all speculation. I'm not 100% sure of what I'm saying, but I think that this is what we'll probably go with if it's Havoc. This is why I lean more towards Havoc. Now, if we talk about Electro, how many characters do we have in the Electro element? For the Electro element, we have 4 characters that are available to us. We have Shangli Yao, Kuro, Yinlin, and Yuan Wu. Now, we have 3 5-star characters and 1 4-star character, Yuan Wu being the only 4-star character. Now, this personally makes me feel that we are not actually going to get an Electro character. Because if we look at the different roles that we have in the Electro element, we have a dedicated DPS in the form of Kuro. We have also another dedicated DPS in the form of Yuan Wu. We have a sub DPS character in Yinlin. And we have Shangli Yao. I think that Electro at this exact moment in time has a very rounded amount of characters in it, and they have different varying roles that they do. So adding another Electro character to the game really does not make sense to me, but because I'm still going with the gradient thing, let's talk about what she could potentially be. Now, it's not 100% clear, but Lumi is a 4-star character. So what if she is a 4-star support character for the Electro element? Or maybe she's also a 4-star DPS character, but then at that point, I think we would have way too many DPS characters in the Electro element. So I think it would be smarter for us to have a 4-star support character that we could potentially use to replace a character like Yinlin or any other character, or potentially any other character from any other element. This is all speculation, and like I said, because I haven't seen or heard of Lumi prior to this, it makes it almost impossible for me to try to speculate on what her kit will be or what she might try to do. So we'll just have to wait and see exactly what the devs will cook up for this. Now, this video is probably going to have 2 parts. There will most probably be another drop of information from the devs, before version 1.4 actually launches, and that will be the part 2 of this video, me trying to speculate based off that. Or if the devs actually decide to do another live stream, then you'll probably see me make a video covering the live stream. But aside from all of that, I can't really say anything more. I don't want to talk about the events that we'll have in the game, because that is, well, I don't know. Like, I really do not know. I know that Wuthering Waves is a game that focuses a lot on the combat aspect of the game. So, of course, we're going to have a combat event. We'll probably also have another exploration event. Whether or not we're going to get a new area in the game remains to be seen. The Black Shores is an archipelago, so I think we've already gotten everything in the Black Shores. So unless there's probably another expansion for Huanglong itself, I don't think we're going to get any new map areas. I think we're going to be focused on just story events and new characters. But hey, those are just my thoughts. I'll let the devs actually cook and tell us what exactly they have planned for the game. So with all that said, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to join the hideout on Discord. Follow me for Wuthering Waves, Project Mugen, Azure Camellya, NTE, and Genshin Impact news videos, challenge videos from time to time, and other kinds of fun videos that I'll also try. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.